Welcome to 3000% Voltron Love with Meth, the makeup girl. The show where I give my honest and respectful opinion on VLD. Today's topic is queer rep in VLD. Before I go into my opinions, do you think VLD had decent queer rep overall? Yes or no? Comment your thoughts below. You know, out of all the characters we've been introduced to who have their queer orientation explicit are just a few. But that's fine. We've got Shiro, Adam, Azor, and Zephyr that we know without doubt were in same gender relationships. Honorable mention are Veronica, possibly Aksha, Blates, and Keith. And by honorable mention, I mean they could be seen as interested in a partner of the same gender or multiple genders. It was mentioned in a Forum podcast episode that while Blates' race doesn't have a gender, it was non-negotiably important that the Galwar Raider, who Blates flirted with, be male. It was later implied in the official art that they were likely together. Aksha was shown to have an interest in Keith and Veronica. Keith, as we know, has shown no particular interest in being with a female and is in love with Shiro. Mild cheesiness tangent incoming! But while Keith is in blatant love with Shiro, and we can evidently see that he is, for corporate reasons, that obvious fact has been swept under the rug. This man has been pining for Shiro for years. He was willing to leave Allura at risk way back at the end of Season 1 to focus on saving Shiro instead. He has risked his life in a heartbeat multiple times just to be near Shiro. Before Season 8, we were told, if Shiro makes a full recovery, his relationship with Keith will become stronger. And all we got after Season 8 was, well, gee golly, we just don't know which way Keith ended up orientation-wise, lol. Sure jam. Going from praising Shiro and Keith's relationship to pretending it doesn't exist within a mere matter of weeks is not organic. Something forceful had to have happened in order for that outcome, in my opinion. Bluntly stated, all involved with this decision just done messed up. It's true, and I should say it. How can a billion-dollar company who allowed a huge mistake that they will not address just close their ears to our words while still willing to take our money too? How can those who made evidently incorrect choices under duress only be willing to engage the fandom when things are positive, and then suddenly forget how to read when heavy negativity sets in? Responsibility needs to be taken here. Personally, I would think that a company should know that when mistakes are made and you and I are reporting problems to them, it shouldn't just be ignored. I mean, say you were jogging outside right now and stubbed your toe really badly against a rock you didn't see. It's going to hurt, right? Now, instead of tending to the pain, you ignore it and power on through your day. Each time your toe aches, it's practically screaming to your brain, "Hey, I'm hurting! Fix the problem!" But you just pretend like it doesn't exist. Of course, that means some bad news for your foot later. This is how I feel the companies who call the shots for VLD are reacting to the fandom right now, and have been reacting since December. You and I are the pain and require immediate tending to, but the companies are ignoring us, avoiding the issue. The longer they do, the worse the outcome for them will be. Alright, now to get more to my subject of today's topic. Let's imagine there's a new movie about a heroic woman who battles with diversity and juggling her love life alongside fighting in a war. She's built up as a strong leader who doesn't always make the best decisions, but pushes through to lead her group to safety and fight the bad guys in ways that have you cheering for her. Your understanding towards how she struggles with keeping her girlfriend happy despite the girlfriend being unsupportive and disagreeing with most of the heroine's difficult life choices. You sympathize with her when she loses her teammates and her girlfriend leaves her. You're there for her when she finds out her girlfriend joined the war without telling her and died in battle. By the end of the movie, you find yourself resonating with only one of them from their realistic representation. So let me ask, would you feel more of a connection to the heroine, of whom you've experienced heartbreak, achievements, and defeat alongside her? Or towards the girlfriend who appeared on screen just to put the heroine down before losing her life? You'd choose the heroine, right? If so, then explain to me why Shiro is overlooked as being proper gay rep just because Adam died. As you and I already know, Adam's death created an uproar for all the wrong reasons, as Adam did not drive the story. The story could have gone on without him. It certainly could have continued on without Citrus. Adam may have been with Shiro, but he doesn't need to still be in a relationship with Shiro in order for queer rep to be considered or appreciated in VLD. What I mean is, Shiro being single does not magically ungay him. Because you know, if you yourself were a straight guy, where everyone knew you preferred women and that you recently broke up with your girlfriend, it's highly unlikely someone will ask, "Say, if you're single now, does that mean you're not straight anymore?" In my experience, only queer folk get asked nonsense like this. "Hey, I haven't seen you with a girl in a while. That means you're straight now, right, baby?" Or my most unfavorite, "Ah, man, it would be such a waste if you were a lesbian." Talk about one of those things to absolutely not say. Anyway, Shiro was the rep since season 2. He was a queer character who had bested death, and capitalism gave us Kudong, so we wouldn't have to wait around until we found out Shiro was still alive in the Black Lion. And he went on to still be important and go pilot his own vessel. That was incredible, right? Why do that if he was just going to go from hero to background character number 400 later? How can you give one of the most amazing characters so much importance, then yank it away as if love was never given to his creation? As if there hadn't been a lot of thought put into him to have him shine. To me, that's the equivalent of having a gorgeous, delicious 3-tier cake in front of you, ready to be served, but instead, its baker just shoves it right into the trash and adds a heap of garbage on top. Why? In the case of Ezor and Zethrid, their relationship buildup was noticeable as they continued to interact. In Season 8, even their bond was cheapened. Why would characters who happily bathe in chaos, rage, and the torturing of others suddenly have a problem with their partner for exhibiting such behaviors? And then leave them? That's like having a friend who loves eating ice cream, but gets mad that it's cold. It's ice cream. Ice cream. Or even better, being upset at water for being wet. What the cheese. If Ezor was supposed to be dead, she should have stayed dead instead of being added in last minute for the sake of rep points. This is another example of just because one of the queer characters die, it doesn't magically unqueerify the other. Without Ezor in the picture, Zethrid didn't instantly turn straight. Ezor may have originally been dead before Eds got to her, but as I've stated before in an earlier video, Ezor being alive paints an abusive light on Zethrid. Because if it's implied that she started raging one day while torturing someone, and Ezor just uncharacteristically said, "Stop that," it would also suggest she took her rage out on Ezor at some point too. This makes bringing her back a very not good choice, as it openly promotes domestic violence. Yeah, that's something to show the kids. So it's okay to show the audience it's perfectly fine to lash out at your significant other to the point they lose all their personality traits and leave you, but it's not okay to show two men in a very healthy, respectful, and loving friendship naturally grow closer to each other? Since when was a healthy relationship frowned upon? Only in this show? Certainly only in parts of this fandom. That's right, I done said it. Bluntly stated, it should not have been done. With Ezor staying dead, it reveals Zephyrd's heart and allows for deeper understanding to her character. I personally believe there's a gigantic sheath reveal scene supposed to happen here. There is no reason why Shiro and Keith would be the only ones to help Zephyr up after a pan out, and no reason why Shiro would go down to the volcano in the first place just to say and do nothing, while his best friend is about to be murdered in front of him. Season 8 really destroyed his character, man. Even if Keith were a stranger, Shiro still would have done something. I believe, with evidence from previous seasons, Shiro and Keith were going to become a couple. They had the strongest bond out of all the other paladins. There was no reason, story-wise, why your best friend, of whom you've become even closer to, would just suddenly avoid you and act like you didn't exist, cold turkey. There is no reason to compare your best friend to your ex when you're on the verge of death, or to portray the similarity of one pilot of the Black Lion being chosen because of having love for another, or to have Keith confess to Shiro in the heat of battle if these two weren't going to be together. And why I bring this up is because even while Shiro lost Adam, have you considered that happened so he could be in a relationship with the one who loved and saved him? The one who stayed, who became the most important to him? Shiro and Keith were both going to be the gay rep, together, in my opinion. Which would have been far more groundbreaking than Shiro marrying a random, along with the inclusion of erasing his bond with Keith. This is why we received the ending we did for Shiro. This is why Shiro and Keith were reduced to less than strangers in Season 8 and Season 8 only, and pushed 5 feet away from each other. Though there was a bit of distance between them in Season 7, but Season 8 really shoved the nail into the coffin. Shiro and Keith were supposed to happen. They would have positively gone down in history as a male-male couple who didn't just fight together, but were both leaders, main characters. When the Adam backlash happened, Shiro needed to be blatantly shown as gay for brownie points and awards instead of his orientation just being a part of him, opposed to defining him like it used to. Shiro wasn't defined by his orientation until Season 8. And Keith being an option was likely taken off the table at the last minute from already being a risky chance to change him from a straight man like previous iterations, and Shiro was given some random of whom people could pretend was Adam 2.0. Because I mean, why in the world wouldn't Shiro want to go back to the one who tried to manipulate and guilt trip him? Gee golly willigers, what a catch! I mean, wow. Even though we know Curtains is the reason for alerting Syndak to Earth and effectively getting Adam killed in the first place. Yet this bumbling nobody gets praised just for existing, despite doing nothing to earn his place as Shiro's husband. Oh sure, he was there on the bridge in the background the whole time. He was there to cheer for Shiro during the arm wrestling competition. Exactly, he was there. He was there and contributed less than nothing to Shiro, and even less than that to the story. Heck, he could have been swapped with any background character. And he had been. You know what I'm referring to. I don't need to go into that. I don't want to look at it again. So tell me, is Curtains the character you'd gladly say represents you? Is he the one that defines groundbreaking gay rep and character development in the entire show? No. No is the correct answer. Is Adam by himself a character you could say represents you? Is he the one who would be celebrated as the best gay rep that would represent you? No. No, of course not. Shiro, Zephyr, Azor, and Blades are examples of the rep. All in all, VLD is still a show with great variety of rep, which says a lot for a kids show these days. I know shows like The Dragon Prince, Adventure Time, and Steven Universe have made history with showing same-gender relationships kiss on screen, but about that, have you noticed that they were all female pairings? Apparently, it's far more accepting to the masses to see two women together than two men. And VLD almost had it right with Shiro and Keith. It was right there! We could have had it all, rolling in the deep. In the end, VLD may not have queerbaited you or me, but it did rob us of finality between the two characters with one of the strongest bonds. So now it's time for those responsible to do something about their worsening stubbed toe. And to realize pairing Shiro with someone who is and who offered nothing and only had being male going for him is not delivering actual representation between two men in a relationship. Throwing two men together into an empty relationship and even emptier wedding is not proper representation. Shiro and Curtains is not good representation. Imagine the wedding was Lance marrying some random woman we knew nothing about instead. That would sure be an upset. An important straight man marrying a background nobody. Well, I'm sure I've gotten the point across now. If a show writer wouldn't do that with their straight characters, they certainly shouldn't do it with any of their queer ones, right? What's your opinion? And that'll do it for now. This has been another episode of 3000% Voltron Love! Oh my goodness, that's super long.